Hello, and welcome to Scan's Community Connection. I'm your host, Tom Hayes, Director of Customer and Community Relations for New Jersey Natural Gas. And I'm very happy that we have a wonderful guest for you today. Her name is Holly Schultz, and she's the branch manager as well as the business development officer at BCB Bank. So Holly, welcome to Scan's Community Connections.
Thank you very much. Nice to see you, Tom.
Nice to see you too. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Yeah, not a bad day, right?
Not a bad day. Can't any day that you wake up, not a bad day, right?
Amen. So I know we're going to be talking about some really good information that's really important to all our viewers, really important to everybody out there, right?
Right.
So, we really appreciate your being able to come in and talk to us about this because these are important issues and our folks really need to know about these sorts of things. So what we're going to be talking about is the fraud and scams, things like
Yes.
that are going on, right?
Yes.
So can you tell our viewers what is the most common type of fraud that you see?
Yes, and unfortunately, it's scamming of the vulnerable, which includes our senior population or even young people, or just anyone just doesn't seem to be as up on things that are going on in the world. And they do it with individuals or groups of people, and they've gotten very, very organized over the course of the years on getting money out of people because they're tough and they're aggressive.
Yeah, they don't give up, right?
They don't give up, no.
And they probably know many different angles, right, to keep going after that.
Especially when they seem to know something about you that you didn't think anybody knew.
Yeah.
And they're good at that as well.
Yeah, that is a shame. So how do you think scammers find their target victims? How do they look for their victims?
So unfortunately, what a lot of people don't know is that every time you sign up for an email list or you sign up for a mailing list, a lot of companies will sell those lists, and you don't know who they're selling them to. So they've got your contact information that you readily gave to someone at some point. They will troll, so to speak, the internet,
Right.
social media sites, and they'll look for people who are sharing a lot of information. And that's something that people do. They're just trying to stay in contact with friends and family, and sometimes we put a little too much information out there.
Yeah, I often think of, even with my own family and myself, just what I see is this internet is great in so many ways,
Yeah.
but it's like anything, where there's the positive, there's also the negative, and sometimes I wonder if, we're not just leaving ourselves too vulnerable. I know there's information out there about people that they didn't put out there, that other organizations put out there,
Right.
that could be about all kinds of different things. And I know there's services that, you can pay for information, so I can find out something on somebody, probably their address, maybe their age, how many kids in their family, kind of thing, just by looking on the internet and trying to find some information out.
Type someone's name on the internet and then all of these things come up, and I've typed my own name in to see what's out there, and
Yeah.
my address, my previous address, all of my phone numbers, everything is out there for public information these days.
Right, and I've always been very guarded about that sort of thing, so I know I didn't put it out there like that, and yet it's there. So it's really tricky, and I think most people have that false sense of security that, oh, well, I don't go on the internet, so they'll never have my information, but there's still a lot of information that gets out there somehow.
Yes, it does.
From public records, I guess, somewhere along the line.
Or a friend of a friend who's sharing something about you that you didn't know about. It happens.
Great. So can you tell us more about the different variety of scams that are out there and the ones that our viewers really should be most aware of?
So the new scams change all the time. There are new scams out there every day, but then there's the old tried and true ones that have been around for years because they've been so successful. One of the biggest ones is the lottery or the giveaway scam. You get that letter in the mail or that phone call, you've won the lottery, or you've won the prize, and you won the sweepstakes. And a lot of people get excited, and they're targeting vulnerable groups who that surprise cash windfall
Yeah, it's such
gets
an
them
emotional,
excited.
right.
And they start sharing information. I think one of the most mean-spirited ones is the empathy one, where they're pretending to be a family member, or they're calling Mrs. Smith and claiming to be a grandchild. Staticky phone calls, and Mrs. Smith isn't going to turn away from her grandchild in need, and that's
Right.
an empathy call. And the scariest one is the IRS scam. I get that one. I get that call at least twice a month that the IRS has a warrant out for my arrest because I haven't paid my taxes. I know
I get that too, but it's real.
Oh, no!
I'm just kidding.
Got to pay those
I
taxes.
do pay my taxes. Just kidding.
So, and they put out a warrant for your arrest.
Isn't
If you
that
don't
something?
pay your taxes right now, we can take that information for you. And they start getting information over the phone, and then because people are scared or people are worried about a family member or they're excited about possibly winning money that can solve a lot of problems for them.
Yeah, right. So that emotional, like you won money, right away your head goes to like, oh my gosh, like you forget that you should be a little more protected or ask the right questions to really figure out what this is about. Or if this is really true, can I call you back and like, or something like, these things that sort of just,
Verify.
And it's interesting because my own mother got a call very similar to what you explained, where she got a call from somebody who said that my son, her grandson, was in a car accident and was under the influence a little bit, so he was afraid to call his parents. So he thought he could reach out to his grandmother, but this was a friend calling for him. He was in the police station, and he said, "Could you please? He needs $2,000." He asked if he feels bad, but would you be able to help him out? Well, thank goodness she didn't have access to cash like that because she believed it. She was like, "Oh my gosh!" And eventually, she called my sister and talked to her and said, "I don't know what to do. I don't want to tell me, because." Her grandson didn't want, all this, and my sister's like, wait a minute. She said, let me make some calls, and my sister called me, and I'm like, no, I don't think so. I called my son, absolutely not. It was all a scam. And like I said, how criminal is it? It's bad enough that you're doing this, but you're picking on really vulnerable people, and out of like fright and sympathy, like you said, they're trying to extract money out of people, steal money from people.
I've had to retrain my own mother on how to answer the phone and how to respond to questions, because when you say yes, they're recording that and they're using your voice saying yes as authorization to do things. So I'm retraining people all the time where you're so prone to just answer questions yes or no. Don't say yes.
Yeah,
Give
wow.
them a full sentence.
Right.
They can't extract that.
That's really bizarre.
Yes.
So
See, I just said it. I just said yes.
yeah, right. But it's very tricky to talk to somebody and not answer a question. You're just
You have to take a breath. And
Yes.
sometimes it's hard to remember that, but take a breath.
Right.
Take a step back. Give yourself, even if you're seriously taking that 30-second deep inhale before you respond,
Right.
it gives your mind a chance to reset
Right.
and get a good grip on what's happening at the moment before you start responding.
It's a shame, but we should also, I guess, all be in kind of the mindset that when the phone rings, you prepare yourself to say, this could be a scam, so definitely pay attention. Then if you pick it up and it is your family member, great, But if it is somebody saying one of these weird things, or it's the IRS, or you won a prize, or whatever, you've already got the mindset to be skeptical right from the get-go, so that hopefully you can't be scammed into like losing all your money.
And it's sad that we have to respond that way, that we have to be skeptical before we are positive.
Yeah.
But we do have to protect
So
ourselves.
it is a shame. We always say it's like the bad people that like lock us into everything else, right? We have so many limitations on our life now because of the freedoms we've lost because people are doing bad things, right? That's a shame. So can you give us some ideas of how to spot these scams? I know we talked about it a little bit. Is there any other tips that you can give us?
So that sense of urgency that we must act now, the pushy, no, you're going to lose out if you don't do this today. Any legitimate company that wants to give you information or needs to get information from you is going to understand that you want to review this, you want to verify this, like I said before. If it's pushing you to make a decision right then and there, most likely it's a scam.
Right.
Legitimate agencies such as banks and the Social Security Department and the IRS will not ask you for your personal identification over the phone. They will not ask you for those numbers. So as soon as somebody starts asking you for your Social Security number, hang up. Just hang up, disconnect, click exit, click shut down.
Right.
It's time to say no.
Right.
That's
Absolutely.
the first thing.
Yeah, it's tricky, but you definitely have to be prepared like that. It's a shame that we're in this world like this, but you
Yes.
definitely have to be prepared. So what are some suggestions on blocking or defending ourselves against these scammers? So is there a way, we've often heard about like going on the no-call list and all
Right.
that. I've done that, but yet I still get these calls. So is that legit? Is there a way to really do that, or is that just the decent companies that follow those rules?
It's decent companies that are following those rules, and do not call list, yes, it does stop some of them. If you weren't on the do not call list, you'd probably be getting twice as many as you're getting. The other ways is to, especially through electronic, email, don't click on links. I get
Right.
emails all the time that appear to be from somebody I know,
Gosh,
but they have an embedded link. Unless you know what's happening in your email, don't click on any links. Call that friend. Did you send me something?
Right.
Before you open it.
Right.
Confirm everything you're told through another source. So if somebody is claiming that you won the, I don't know, Community Connections lottery, look up Community Connections lottery. Does it even exist?
Right, right.
And do you remember playing the Community Connections lottery?
Right,
If you
right.
didn't play it, you probably didn't
Didn't win it.
right?
Got to be in it to win it, right?
Just again, verify, verify, verify.
Yes.
I can't repeat that enough.
Yeah, no,
So-
that's really good information. So what should you do if you become a victim? If you realize that, wow, I was duped and somebody got away with money from me or what have you?
And what I see the most often is that people are embarrassed that they were
Sure.
duped. They don't want to admit that they were scammed.
Right.
So they don't tell anybody. Don't be embarrassed, because it happens to everyone. Everyone will fall for something at some point in time.
Right.
Tell somebody. Tell your banker. Tell your best friend. Most importantly, tell the police.
Right.
Because it is a crime. And they keep going and going because not enough people report it. And unfortunately, most police departments are going to say, you're probably not going to get your money back. But the more reports that are made, the more the government has to do something about it, has to
And
get
then more they
involved.
probably can warn people too, right?
And
Let people know
becomes
this
more
is out there.
public. So maybe it happened to you, but by filing a police report, it's not going to happen to your neighbor.
Right.
Or maybe you will get your money back, but at least you've done something. But first and foremost, please do not be embarrassed, because it happens to everybody,
Right.
and you need to tell somebody.
Right. It's good information. I just think everybody really does need to be aware of this. I mean, I remember years ago it was that email you got from Africa that the president or the king or something had some money, and if you could send him some money, you'd get tenfold back. All those kinds of weird things.
Yes.
But I'm glad I don't see much of that anymore. But I'm sure it's still out there.
They're still out there, but not as common anymore.
So now, if people wanted to reach out to you and get some information, what would be the best way to get in contact with you?
You can go online to bcbbank.com, and you can look up all of our branches. We do have 30 branches across 9 counties in New Jersey.
Great.
And all of our branches are available to help. Contact information, phone numbers, email, that's all there.
Excellent. Well, Holly, I want to thank you for your time. It's
Thank
been
you.
wonderful, really good information. I'm sure our viewers are going to appreciate that very much.
I
And
hope even one person learned something. That would be great.
Yep, thank you very much for being here. Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Tom.
All right, and stay tuned after this quick commercial break. We're going to be back with another guest. Thank you.
At the Save Green Project from New Jersey Natural Gas, we're bringing you rebates and incentives, including 0% APR financing, right on your natural gas bill to help make energy efficiency affordable. And with the possibility of no upfront costs and special incentives for moderate income customers, investing in equipment upgrades doesn't have to be out of reach. Go to SaveGreenProject.com for details on available rebates and incentives to help you upgrade to energy-efficient HVAC and water heating equipment. You could also be eligible for thousands of dollars in incentives for seal-up and insulation fixes. In the long run, you could be saving money on your energy bills too. Visit us at SaveGreenProject.com. That's SaveGreenProject.com.
Hello and welcome back to Scans Community Connections. Again, I'm your host, Tom Hayes, and we've got another fantastic guest for you. You're going to learn some wonderful information with Lori Mclean, who's the president and CEO of the United Way of Monmouth and Ocean Counties. And Lori, I know you've been involved for over 20 years in the community in all kinds of different roles and different organizations. So I happen to be, a full disclosure to our audience, I happen to be a board member of the United Way,
Yes.
so I've been there for over 20 years now, and I have to say it's a pleasure having you on board as our president and CEO.
Yes, thank you for having me. Pleasure as well.
Absolutely, and it's been an exciting time for the United Way, hasn't it?
It is. It is.
Yep.
A lot of changes. I
Right.
came in the middle of it, which is great. Hit the ground running, which is nice.
Yep. You obviously became the new president and CEO of several months ago, but had to also move your offices, right? You had to expand, and you have beautiful offices now, but you're in Wall Township still, which is great.
Right.
And things seem to be working out pretty well.
Yeah, things are going great. Talking about moving in, the organization merged, Ocean and Monmouth County merged a couple of years ago, but the last piece was actually bringing the teams together into one location. So that
Right.
was, one of my first tasks that I had to do, but it's
That's
been
great.
great. Yeah.
And it's funny because I know they often blamed me because I served on both the Monmouth and Ocean County United Way boards. I was the only one who served on both. And they said, it's Tom's fault. He's the one who tried to make us merge, so we only had one meeting instead of two. But it was for the right reason.
It worked out well.
Yes, and I love both groups, and it's nice that you're all together. You've got a great team of really wonderful folks. Roughly how many staff members do you have now with both together?
We have 9 members right now.
That's which is great.
Yeah.
And it's a really smooth, hardworking team, so that's
I'm
great.
very blessed to have a great team.
Yes, you are. So, how did you end up becoming involved with the United Way?
Funny story. You talked about 20 years in the nonprofit business, but prior to nonprofit, I actually worked in the cosmetic industry, and I had the pleasure of opening up all of the Nordstrom stores on the East Coast. And when I went to different states, I saw that United Way was embedded in the Nordstrom culture. As soon as employees were brought on, they learned about the United Way and the importance. So, and again, that's where I also realized United Way was a worldwide organization, but the uniqueness of it is every community had the ability to run their organization the way they needed to and fill the gap and the needs of the community.
Right.
So, yeah, it was
Pretty
interesting.
amazing, right?
It kind of came full circle when this opportunity came up. So
Yeah,
it was
that's
great.
excellent. So that's nice. So you're familiar with it sort of already, which is great.
Yeah.
So, as you know, United Way does so much in the community, but what are the main focus areas?
So there's 4 main areas of focus. They are school readiness. It's ensuring that parents and caregivers and providers have the tools that they need to, address any literacy, early literacy, or health issues that are going to, determinants, I should say, really, that they have for early grade success.
Right.
Yeah. And
I
then-
hear you have a really wonderful chair for that committee. Isn't it?
Yes, we have the best.
I couldn't help myself. Just had to, you can tell the audience the truth some other time, but leave all the curse words out. Okay,
No, we
sorry
are
to
very
interrupt.
fortunate to have you, and
No,
it's,
I'm just
I love
kidding.
being in those meetings. I learn a lot. You've been doing.
I'm
that
glad
for a
you
long
do because
time.
I know nothing.
So the other area is early grade reading. So
Right.
that is probably the fun. I mean, most people know we have summer camp programs, which are great, and we just make sure that students are learning, they're engaged, and they're healthy during the summer months, so they're ready for school when it comes, in
Right.
September.
Absolutely.
Which is great. We also have financial stability. So making sure that throughout Monmouth and County, there's resources for everyone to become if they're financially insecure and become, wealth, well-being. So that's the
Right.
main goal of that.
And I know you have centers in both Monmouth and Ocean County that really handles all that, right?
We do.
Which is
we
wonderful.
Do. We have actually 10 centers throughout, so
Amazing.
which is great. Yeah. And the last one we have is youth career pathways, and that's really geared towards high school students to ensure that they have access and an understanding of very diverse career pathways.
Which is wonderful. A lot of our youth, they could be a little lost at that age, right? So anything we can do to help direct them and help them get a really good career path is wonderful for all of us. It helps the whole community when folks are working, and when we get kids working at an early age, it really makes a big difference.
It
So,
does.
so
It's a lot of pressure,
Oh,
figuring
yeah.
out what you want to do. Sometimes
I'm-
I wonder,
you too. You too. I want to be a broadcaster. Just kidding. So I know there are many programs and partners that you're working with, but can you name a few that you've been working with this year?
Sure. We actually have 9 agencies when we were talking about the financial success centers, and it's Fulfill, Affordable Housing. We have the Mental Health Association
Wonderful.
of Monmouth County. There's, all of them that we work with are great partners.
Yeah, it's amazing. We're fortunate to live in the Monmouth and Ocean County area because there are so many wonderful organizations, and it's smart that you partner and collaborate with so many, because that's how we get much more work done, and it's much more efficient that way, right? So when folks donate to the United Way, they can feel comfortable that those dollars are being really expanded through a lot of different agencies, so we're getting the biggest bang for their buck, which is
Correct.
always important, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
Yes.
they are great partners. So it is wonderful. And now, as it becomes tax season and all that, there's programs that are involved with our finance group and all that. Can you tell us some of the services that the Financial Success Center network actually helps
Sure.
folks with?
Sure. We actually, so tax season, January 31st through April 15th, busiest season, and that's really where most of our people get introduced to our financial success centers. As we just mentioned, 10 centers across the 2 counties. And we offer, in partnership with Fulfill, we offer free tax prep for those who are low to moderate income.
Right.
And I think it's households have to be at 56,000 and less, and individuals at 35,000 and less. And it's a great way to get your taxes done, but more importantly, they're also introduced to the EITC
Right.
credit, and that is for people who are working.
Right.
But
And
in that
EITC
low to
is the Earned Income Tax Credit, right?
correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you. And so it's, if you are employed, you can actually get receive additional funds if you can, meet the criteria. So we
Right.
make sure that everyone, is aware of that.
Right.
So-
Which is great, because then these folks have these dollars to be able to put back in their pocket and keep themselves sustained, hopefully. And I know at the Success Centers are also given other tools and access to other information, right, and other partners to really help make sure their whole household is in as, and I guess in as good shape as it can be, right? So
Right.
they really get to learn more things, and it's just a wonderful way to open a door to somebody that they come in for one service but end up with many more. That just makes them a better family, a more complete family or individual that they can do better in life.
Right.
Right?
So one of the things that I'm really committed to, and the rest of my team, and working with all these different partners, is making sure, yes, we have the free tax prep, but then throughout the whole year, 365 days a year, we have the opportunity for people to come in. It does not matter what your income level is. Free services, working with a coach, a financial stability coach, and they learn how to manage their money. They can get better housing, better income. They can even help them find a job. So we really encourage people to come and check that out.
Yeah, which is great. I think, again, it's so helpful to folks. And like you said, you don't have to necessarily have any eligible guidelines. You could just say, hey, I think I need some help with this. Because we could be saving somebody from falling into a bad situation, right? That
Which is so
they might be in an
important.
okay situation right now, but they could fall into a bad situation if they don't get some help. And we're there to help them.
That is actually, so one of the areas that we are focusing on is students, or actually young adults who just, finish college and they have these student loans, and what do you do about that? So trying to prepare them to not go into a debt and how to manage their money and not be, panicked about it. So
Right.
we encourage them as well to come in.
Right, that's great. It's really wonderful. And I know as a board member, we're involved with a lot of organizations, but again, as I sort of mentioned before, we're a convener, right? So the United Way does so much in terms of working together. So maybe talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so that's actually really a high priority for us, to making people understand, that we are this convener role, and again, working with all these different agencies within the community. you know, the best example I can think off the top of my head is I was at a meeting, at the MAC meeting, which is for Monmouth and Ocean County, the Monmouth Acts, where all the public and private agencies are coming together.
Right.
Yeah, right. So we're reporting out. I happen to co-chair the financial stability or financial empowerment hub,
Right.
and we're reporting out, and on our progress. And Donna Blaze from Affordable Housing, just unsolicited, came and said, I just really want to, thank you and the United Way partnering with you and seeing the progress that's been happening. And, I said, can you share a little bit about that? And we just came up on our 1-year anniversary of 9 of our financial success centers. So it happened to coincide with the first day of open tax season, as I call it.
Yep.
And so we did a little celebration. So with partners with Fulfill and Affordable Housing and Mental Health, they did a little extra for all the people that came in on the first day. And Donna had mentioned, she goes, not only were they getting the free taxes, it was our most successful day. We got 30 people going in an intake for affordable housing. So, it was the best news I could hear, and it was nice in front of all the, everyone else in the room.
It's a great testimonial. And those of us that know Affordable Housing Alliance and Donna know what a straight shooter she is. She doesn't, no nonsense. So if she says it, it's true.
I know, that was really the best.
Which is great. And being on the Monmouth Acts board has been wonderful. There's so many great organizations around that table, and always we get to know really what's going on all the time. And I feel very fortunate and privileged as representative of the gas company to be on that board, because everyone else are really social agencies, but they feel like that makes sense for us to be there. So it's wonderful. And United Way has always been a very strong partner and collaborator in all that. So it's nice to see you carry that torch so well.
Thank
you. It really is important.
I've
it
enjoyed
means a
my
lot.
time there. Yeah.
So now, if somebody wanted to get involved with the United Way, because I know you have volunteer programs, there's all kinds of, or any of these other programs, committees, whatever it might be, what's the best way that they can look to get involved with the United Way?
So probably first and foremost would be to do the click to donate, so we can continue these programs. But you can go on to uwmoc.org.
Right.
You can learn about all the financial success centers, the locations, and what programs we have. We also have in May, I think it's on May 18th, we have our spring tee-off at Hollywood Golf Club. And then we also have a brand new partnership with Downtown Freehold. We're having a food truck show on April 18th. So that'll be fun. So
that's
a lot
excellent.
of it. And as you said, volunteer opportunities. We match a lot of individuals or corporations that want to, do some good in the community.
Great. Well, Lori, I thank you for your time. We really appreciate it, and look forward to working with you more in the future. And to our viewers, we thank you for watching Community Connections, and we look forward to seeing you at the next show.